Measures of spread. Box plots give us a way to graphically represent data according to quartiles, and this will give us a way to be able to tell how far apart the data are spread. So before we look at how to graph a box plot, you need to be familiar with some terminology. So if we have a set of data, the median of the data is going to be your second quartile, which is denoted Q2. At the second quartile, 50% of your data will be less than that value. Okay, well, if we look at all of the value to the left of Q2, your second quartile, the median of that lower half of the data is going to be your first quartile. The median of the upper half of the data to the right of Q2, is going to be your third quartile. The minimum, just like the name implies, is going to be your smallest value in the data set. And the maximum will be the largest data value. The interquartile range is equal to the third quartile minus the first quartile. An outlier would be denoted with an asterisk when constructing a box plot. And the way that you can determine if something is an outlier is if it's a value that's smaller than your first quartile minus 1.5 times that difference, the interquartile range, or your outlier is going to be bigger than your third quartile by a factor of 1.5 times your interquartile range. So the values that have the blue asterisks beside them are called the 5-number summary. So those are the values that you need to have in order to draw your box plot. So for this example, I want you to draw a box plot that represents the following data set. The grades on Dr. Johnson's English final exam are as follows. So we have a 90, lots of grades going all the way to a 74. So the first thing I'm going to need to do, since I have to use the median with box plots, is I'm going to order the data. So I'm going to start with my smallest data value, which is 50, and just relist them. Okay, let me start here. 61, 66, have 73 twice, 74, 75, 77, 84, and 90. So first thing I want to do is to find my second quartile. So my second quartile is in the middle of my data. Okay, well, how many data values do we have? We have a total of 10. So in the middle, we don't have a number in the middle. The 73 and the 74 are in the middle of our data set. We have 4 numbers below that, 4 numbers above that. So to get Q2, which is the median, for an even number of data, we take the average of these. So our second quartile is equal to 73.5. Okay, so now to get our first quartile, we look to the left of Q2. So everything to the left of the second quartile, which is found in the middle of these numbers, are 73.5. So that means we're looking at 5 numbers now. So our first quartile is the median of those 5 numbers, which is 66. So now to get our third quartile, we're looking to the right of Q2, and the number in the middle is 77. Okay, we also can easily see our max and our min. So the minimum is our smallest data point, which is 50, and the max is our largest data point, which is 90. Right, well, we have everything we need now in order to graph a box plot. So we can draw a scale, and we need our numbers to go from 50 to 90. So I'm going to start at 0, and I'm just going to increase in increments of 10. Okay, so next I'm going to draw where my first quartile is. I'm going to draw a vertical line because that's going to be the left side of a box. So at 50, I'll have a vertical line coming down. And the right side of my box is going to be where my third quartile is at 77. Okay, so my box is going to go all the way up to 77, somewhere around here. Okay, so I can form my box. And now down the middle is going to be where my second quartile is. So that'll be at 73.5, which is somewhere here approximately. Okay, next I need to draw what are sometimes called whiskers. I'm going to draw a line. Oops, and actually I did not draw my first quartile. I drew the minimum value. My first quartile is at 66. So that's actually where we want that line. Sorry about that. So the left side of the box will be at the first quartile, which is 66. And the right side of the box will be at the third quartile, which is 77. Okay, so our box should look something like this instead. Okay, so now to get the whiskers, we draw a line and we stop at the minimum. And sometimes a point is drawn there, sometimes it's just a little vertical line. Okay, we do the same thing on the right side. We draw a line to our max, and then we draw a little vertical line there. So when you see this box plot, again also called a box and whiskers plot, it's important to know that this line on the left is going to be your minimum, where that little line is. The leftmost part of your box is going to be where the first quartile is. The line in the middle of your box is your second quartile. The right side forming your box is going to be your third quartile. And then the max is going to be the line to the right.